Okay, I am talking with Timothy Chooi, Asian-Canadian violinist who is in a hotel stairwell in Austin, Texas. Now that really takes the cake. That's wonderful. Timothy is in Austin because it is the Yehudi Menuhin 2014 violin competition. And the miracle, let everybody in Southern California who's watching this know the miracle is I just now found out that what I saw as a performance on YouTube, I think it was YouTube or whatever,
Yes.
at the site, yeah, on YouTube, was in fact the performance he just finished playing. Am I close?
Mm. Yeah, that's correct.
Now that is amazing. Not only is it amazing we're chatting whatever 1,800 miles from each other, and Timothy's in a hallway, and
Mm.
I'm here in Santa Barbara where it's raining. That's unique. But
Oh.
Timothy is going to be playing. He's having his debut with Santa Barbara Symphony on March 15th and 16th, that is to say Saturday evening at 8 o'clock at the Granada Theater in downtown Santa Barbara, and Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, the 16th of March, at 3 p.m. in the Granada Theater with the Santa Barbara Symphony near Cabaretti conducting. And he is going to be playing the magnificent staple of the repertoire, the Max Bruch G minor Violin Concerto Number 1.
Mhm.
A winner, any way you look at it, you're going to do well, I'm sure. And kind of a sad story. I just finished reading that Max Bruch died, born in 1838. I mean, he saw the
Oh.
whole world, the Industrial Revolution and World War One. Died in abject poverty in 1920 because World War One had just torn, the whole structure of European society to pieces. Um, but enough of that. He managed to write a violin concerto that's like the standard piece in the repertory. How long have you? Will this be the first time you've even played the G minor violin concerto?
Well, this piece actually, I learned it when I was very young. I learned it when I was maybe 10 years old, and 10 to 11. And then I played it quite a few times. I played with my local orchestra, and then I've never touched it again until just the beginning of last year. So I relearned it, and it was a really great experience because it's a piece that I know I've heard many times. I've learned it, and just to look at it at a different perspective gave me one of the greatest joys.
Yeah, and you said local orchestra. Which orchestra was
Um,
that?
the Victoria Symphony. I grew up in Victoria, British Columbia.
I'm a Seattleite. I'm a
Oh,
Spokaneite.
really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I see. And while we're on that subject, this is Timothy's only performance in California in Santa Barbara. So
Mhm.
those of you, a lot of people watch this from Southern California, Los Angeles, greater area. I've said this a million times. Even with the rain, but by next weekend, that'll all be gone. It'll be history. It'll be
Mm.
gorgeous climate, I'm sure, again. And come on up to Santa Barbara and watch this young man have his debut with the Santa Barbara Symphony. And speaking of Victoria, BC, I know that you're spending, well, that's why you're spending 4 days up there with the
Mhm.
Victoria Symphony.
Yes.
That's like going home, huh?
Yeah, it's really nice. I haven't been home for a very long time, so it's really nice to go
Oh,
back and to play for the my city again.
yes, and what a beautiful city. I used to take the old ferry all the time, the Seattle ferry during the summertime. What a beautiful
Yes.
trip that was. Always up through the channel and up to Victoria for the day, and then back down to Seattle. But
Yeah.
let's get back to here and now, and what we need to get clear about. Here's my first question for you, Timothy. By the way, you and your brother. Now let's start. Pardon me. We're going to do a little sidetrack here with Nicky. Am I pronouncing his
Mm,
name properly?
that's right.
And he's what, maybe 2 or 3 years older than you?
No, he's actually 5 years older than me.
Oh, he's looking good. Uh,
Yeah.
and I've seen an amazing video when you two were given your Guarneris and your something. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that. And you're asked to play the Bach double right there in the music store. It looked like to me.
Mm. My brother and I, we auditioned for the Canada Council Instrument Bank, which is, it happens every 3 years. It's an audition that the government of Canada has. It's a collection of instruments, very
Mm.
rare instruments. And brother and I were very fortunate to be one of the winners, and we could choose an instrument of our choice to have for 3 years. So I chose the 1729 Guarneri del Gesù, and my brother chose the 1700 Stradivarius violin.
Okay, and are there any fights when he says, I'd rather have yours?
No, we're lucky because my brother did the same audition 3 years before me, and he used the Guarneri del Gesù 3 years
Oh, I
before me
see.
as well. So he was very kind. He's like, "It's your turn to try it because I've had it for 3 years, and I'm going to try the Stradivarius now."
Wow, that is wonderful. And how's about where is he studying? I know that you are at Curtis Institute in
Mhm.
Philadelphia. You're an undergrad, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother was at Curtis Institute as well for 5 years, and then now he's in Juilliard School of Music doing his master's degree.
And by the way, does that happen as it does in every high school? Did you get trouble from the older kids because your brother had been there first?
Actually, funny enough, we didn't go to the same high school because
I meant
uh,
Curtis. I was referring to
oh,
Curtis.
Curtis. Curtis. Yes, I always get mixed up as my brother, Nikki, every single time. My teacher, we study with the same teacher as well. We still study with the same teacher.
Yeah.
Ida Kavafian, she teaches at
Yes.
Juilliard and at Curtis. So she constantly gets us mixed up, and everybody, all the faculty always calls me Nikki, or always, I remember your brother playing this, or I remember your brother, but it's fine.
Geez, I don't know if that's okay or not, frankly. And yes, I do know Ida Kavafian from Santa Fe Chamber Music Festival. Wonderful. And also, you just recently or somewhere last year played with, I don't know if you know that conductor Kent Nagano, with whom you played, I think, in Montreal or something, yeah? Can you hear me? Timothy's freezing a little bit. Are you
Hello?
there? Yeah, are you there?
Hi. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened to the internet. But Ken Nagano conducted me with the Montreal
Yep.
Symphony. I think it was a year and a half ago now, and it was part of a celebration of the Montreal Symphony's anniversary or something. And I was very lucky to play with them again.
Well, I was going to mention Kent because he is famous as being a surfer up in Morro Bay, just north of
Really?
Santa Barbara. Yeah, I knew him also when he was very young. I mean,
Oh, wow.
go figure how this works. It's wonderful. And by the way, the program. Let me bring that program out just a little bit once more. The program's going to have not only the Bruch Violin Concerto, but
Mm.
William Tell Overture, Rossini. I don't know
Mm.
what that's about with Mir Cabaretti, Prokofiev Classical Symphony, and a piece I've written in 1999 by Dirk Brozé. I believe that's pronounced
Oh,
properly. Millennium Overture. I've never heard, so it'll be a very interesting program. Now
yes.
let's just kind of backtrack a little bit. We've talked about your brother. I think that's enough of him for now. Uh, what it sounds like a dumb question, really, but because I know how conservatories work, but how is it that you can be all over the? I mean, your schedule in May is South America or something,
Mhm.
and and then how do you get back and take a theory class?
Well, Curtis is a very special school. I've never heard of another school or college that's similar to Curtis. They're very performance related, and really, it's the students that they believe that if they have something that's greater of an importance that's happening at school, they believe that they should allow the students to do those things and help build their career. So I'm very lucky to be at Curtis because all of my performances do sometime a lot of my performances do fall during the school year. So I do talk to the dean, and right now the president is Roberto Diaz, and he's very kind, and he allows me to do my concerts during March and May. So um, this time I'm going to be in Malaysia in May, and then I'm going to Ottawa. But before that, I'm going to be Santa Barbara and Victoria, and right now I'm in Austin. So it's quite a lot, but it's something that I really enjoy doing, and the school thinks that it's really important for me to fulfill those engagements as well. So that's how it sort of works. And when I get back to school, I just have to catch up. And right now, since I have a theory exam coming up next week, I
Uh,
just I just try to look a little bit on the airplane. Doesn't always happen, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's your problem as a student. I'm long past that. It was horrifying for me anyway. My conducting teacher also put me through the so-called elementary training for musicians of Paul Hindemith, and
Yeah,
I still have nightmares about that
yeah,
ordeal. But
yeah.
there you go. Now, when did this? Now you have a brother. Any other siblings that play music? What's the
No.
history of this? How come? What happened?
Well, my parents are not musicians, and they've been very grateful to to let us explore the musical world because they were very scared in the beginning that we were both going into the music world because they have no experience. And my dad's a computer analyst and my mom holds a degree in mathematics. So they had no idea or they had no control over how to guide us in our career paths or what to do next or what's going to happen or what we should take in action. So they could basically just learn from experience. And luckily and fortunately, so far the experiences have been very good and they're very supportive. So this is sort of how it all happened. I think the most important thing was that our parents gave us the blessing to become musicians and to do what we love. So from then we just sort of continue our experiences, and I'm very close to my teachers as well, all of my violin teachers, and I think so far we've been very happy for what we've achieved and what we're going through.
Now, let me translate that. Your very practical parents went,
Mm.
oh, Lordy, we have two kids that want to pursue music, that crazy career, or what are we going to do about this? But what I really want to know is, what then, if your parents were not necessarily musical, what happened? What was the experience? When did it happen? Do you have a recollection of any of that?
Oh, yes. My brother started with the violin because he my parents wanted him to do something for a hobby. So he played the violin, piano, clarinet. And I was born 5 years later. And I remember seeing videos of myself just imitating him on the violin. I used a cardboard box and a chopstick. And I would just imitate him all day. And that was my babysitter. And
Mm.
I continued doing that until maybe I was 3 years old, and then my parents were like, maybe he wants to start on the violin. So I started playing the violin when I was 3 years old, and ever since that, I just kept up with it because I really, really enjoyed it. And by the time I was maybe 10, 11, 12, it became more serious. I started having more of my time was involved in music, and it was starting to be juggling between school and music. And then when I was 14, 15, I started winning competitions, and uh, I felt like I was improving a lot faster than a lot of other people. And I continued that, and then I finally auditioned for Curtis, and then I got in, and that's sort of where I am now.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, not even, hardly. You're way beyond that. You have a fabulous career already in process, let alone 10, 15, 20 years from now. And so my last little question and thank you for answering that. It's funny, I find something about I hear the age 3 come up an awful lot when I ask
Mhm.
this question.
Yeah.
And I also hear these words that the general public might have a misapprehension about. Everyone I've spoken to says how much they love their music, loved practicing, all that. I mean,
Oh.
that's the big one. What's the 10-year plan? I mean, what's going to happen? Are you going to follow your brother to Julia? Oh, someone's coming up the stairwell, I'll bet. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. Well, I started playing when I was 3 because I really, really enjoyed it. Like, my parents told me that I would bruise myself with the chopstick, just hitting myself. And um, I continued with that. And then I really love music because it gives me I don't know, when I was younger especially, it was a time when I could just get out of the real world and just really I felt really comfortable in expressing everything inside the music world. Um, 10-year plan? I don't know. I still have a few years at Curtis, so maybe, you never know. I might go to Julia to do my master's degree if necessary, so I would love to.
And all we have to hope for now is that you pass that theory test coming up, okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, my theory
Listen,
test.
Timothy Chooi, I want to thank you very much for giving me a few minutes there in a stairwell in a hotel in Austin, Texas, for your upcoming debut on March 15th and 16th with the Santa Barbara Symphony. Let me just throw a phone number out there for everybody so they can dash to their telephones. I think we still have telephones. In Santa Barbara for the Granada Theater for tickets, area code 805-899-2222. And Timothy is going to be playing the magnificent G minor Bruch violin concerto. And as you mentioned earlier in our little conversation, something about how I'm 66 years old, and I think I
Hmm.
finally understand how to conduct some works. You see what I mean? Just
Yes,
the constant maturing, the becoming more and more comfortable. So it'll be very interesting. I'm sure you're feeling a whole lot more comfortable uh,
definitely.
in a much in a whole different maturing kind of way. I'm sure.
Yes,
Than when you first learned it, and that's the excitement of music. It you never stop learning
yes, that's
from this
true.
experience. Timothy, thanks much. I'll see you have great luck here there in Austin at the Menuhin competition. I'm sure you're going to take home prizes and monies, and your parents will be able to sleep easy at night.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really looking forward to playing in Santa Barbara.
Okay, we'll see you then. All right,
See you.
bye bye.
Bye.